What's going on, everybody? This is the Night Shift, aka the halftime of the Cavs-Celtics Game 7 podcast for tomorrow's DFS slate. Really weird slate tomorrow. What should be called the main slate is not being called the main slate. FanDuel, in their infinite wisdom, are only counting the 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock games for their early morning. So there's a 7-game main slate for FanDuel and a 12-game main slate, or what we would like to call a main slate, for DraftKings. So, things are just super. Everything is weird tomorrow, not helpful, but I'm going to hit on the first 12 games. So everything that's on the DK main slate, not that I'm going to go over everything here, but that's what we'll be doing tomorrow in the morning, myself and Jake. For now, I'm going to take a look at those same games and just, pop in and out and give you what I'm looking at right now. Lots of big implied totals. From what I'm seeing, we have 4 teams: the Nats, the Red Sox, the Angels, and the Indians, all over 5 or higher. Diamondbacks sitting at 4.9 right now, so that one's close as well. Lots to like from a hitting perspective. I will definitely be looking at some of those options. I'm going to peek into each one of those teams, starting with the one that I'm going to end up liking the most, or at least what I expect to like the most, which would be the Diamondbacks, who I tend to like constantly. They're looking at they're 60% to win right now, 4.9 run implied total. They've got the matchup against Homer Bailey. I love the Diamondbacks price point, particularly on FanDuel. They're just in a really good spot, dollar for dollar. Peralta, Jake Lamb, Descalso, Alex Avila will be a really nice catcher option on DraftKings if he's in the lineup. Socrates Brito and Kettle Marte are both super duper cheap. Even Goldschmidt, only 3,700. He's a guy that I go to a lot. Just happy he went yard a couple nights ago. But I'll be on the Diamondbacks quite a bit, I can tell right now. I'll have a little bit of interest in the Reds, but not too much. Another team I'll be looking at pretty heavily, I'm sure, would be the Indians. But the reason I say that I'm sure, I haven't done any crunches yet. Fantasy Cruncher hasn't rolled over to the 28th. Let me just double check that actually hasn't happened since I've started this, because if it has, we're going to do some blind crunches. Still the 27th. So I expect the Indians to pop up quite a bit. 5.4 run implied total. As of right now, that's the highest of the slate. It's a 64% chance to win. Top of their lineup is just absolutely loaded. Dylan Covey going for the White Sox. Just can't miss bats. Walks a lot of guys. As a 4.95 projected steamer FIP. So he's a guy that I would definitely want to target against. Whether that's Lindor, who grades out really well, Michael Brantley, Jose Ramirez, Edwin Encarnacion, Yonder Alonso, Jason Kipnis is a guy that I'll have some of. Yan Gomes will be a really nice catcher option. I would expect the Indians to be one of my top 3 stacks, just because of where they have positions to get Ramirez, Lindor, even Brantley to an extent. Getting that lefty-righty matchup in the 2-hole, I like that a lot. He's a lot better against righties than he is against lefties. So Indians are another team that I'll be focusing on quite a bit, regardless of site. And then I'd say the Angels right now look to be probably the best DraftKings stack. 5.3 run implied total, just a tenth of a run behind the Indians. 62% chance to win over the Tigers. They're throwing Tyler Skaggs. Matt Boyd going for Detroit. He's a guy with a 5.1 FIP from Steamer, so no one I really like. I do like Skaggs quite a bit. I expect to like him A little bit from a pitching perspective. I like him more just like in general, but I don't really love his price for tomorrow. Angels hitters, though, is where we want to be. Lefty Boyd on the hill for the Tigers. Angels lean super heavy to the right outside of Ohtani. I expect him to be incredibly popular here, whether that's Cozart leading off. Trout, obviously, don't have much to say there. He's just Mike Trout. Justin Upton in a really nice spot, 3,800 on FanDuel, 3,900 on DK. He'd be someone I'd want to take a deeper look at. I love Albert Pujols as an option tomorrow. Ohtani might be owned less just because of the lefty-lefty matchup, but I'd be happy to have him as part of a stack. Maldonado at catcher would be a great option on DK. I like Andrelton Simmons or Ian Kinsler, even though they are down the line a little bit further. I like just the price point and the matchup for them. That implied total is really nice. If I was going to look at one last team here, I like the Nats, but I think that I probably like the Red Sox and the Cardinals a little bit more. Cardinals probably a little bit more off the beaten path. So let's take a look at that one now. As the Cavs-Celtics game comes back from halftime. Cardinals, 4.6 run implied total right now. They're just slight favorites over the Brewers. But the key takeaway is they're going up against the lefty Brent Suter. He's got a 4.5 expected FIP. Nothing to write home about. But the Cardinals are looking to run out a whole host of righties. So Tommy Pham leading off is going to be in a really, really nice spot. Harrison Bader, not my favorite hitter in the world, but has a little bit of pop against lefties. Jose Martinez, definitely somebody that I want to look at as a first base option. Marcell Ozuna should be really popular. He mashes the ball regardless, so even getting that righty-lefty split is perfect. Jed Jerko, Yairo Munoz. I don't think I said his first name correctly, but I wasn't ready for all of the letters that were there. A Y-A-I-R, yeah. Yairo Munoz. I just wasn't ready for it. But, that happens. He's not the best hitter in the world, but I'll probably have a little bit of him as a shortstop option as part of a stack. Anxious to see their ownership. I wouldn't expect the Cardinals to be too highly owned with that implied total tomorrow, so I think they could be worth something on the sneak tip if we see that they're going to be kind of low owned. If we're talking about guys from a pitching perspective, I have it sorted by FanDuel salary now, so I'll say right away, barring any major changes, looks like David Price is going to be a guy that I have quite a bit of. Red Sox with the 5.2 run implied total. Blue Jays right now only 3.8. Monstrous chance for Price to pick up a win, and he's only at 8,000 on FanDuel. So 1, 2, 3, might even be. Oop, somebody's texting me. Lovely. It's always great when you get a text from a friend from home who I assume just saw my parents. The text reads, and I'll use a kind word during it. Your dad just told me he's going to have to crap his pants to keep the chicks away. So, always great to get that text while you're recording a podcast. I love David Price tomorrow. Super cheap price, 8,000. Huge chance to pick up a win. Blue Jays, not the scariest lineup in the world. Sub 400 slugging percentage against lefties on the year. They've got a 90 weighted runs created plus. That's a direction that I'm going to be going very, very big time on FanDuel. I'll probably be looking closer at guys like Caleb Smith and Luke Weaver. If we're looking at the top, I'm going to have some trouble getting to Justin Verlander at 11.6 or 12.6 tomorrow. I would guess his ownership will be relatively low. He's not as appealing of an option heading into a game against the Yankees. So I'd say if I needed even someone a little bit more expensive than Price, Chris Archer's not the worst look in the world. A's only a 4.1 implied total. I'd say that Archer probably looks a little bit better on DK, where the win is less important and the strikeouts matter more. If I look over at DK, I like that opposite side of the game. Trevor Cahill for the A's. Only a 3.6 run implied total for the Rays. They're not the best team in the world from a hitting perspective, although they had a bit of a breakout today. Trevor Cahill's a guy that I'd be definitely interested in. There's not a lot of down the line guys that I'd want to target on FanDuel. If I sort this by DK, I want to see if anybody stands out. Like Luke Weaver will have a lot of ownership for me. I'm hoping that line moves a little bit more for the Cardinals. I think Brock Stewart is a really interesting option for the Dodgers. What time is that game, though? Is that later? Is that not going to matter? Do I have this not sorted correctly? Yeah, not sorted correctly. Ignore what I said. Wow, David Price is 10-2 on DK. Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to spend that. I'd rather have Archer at 9.5 for sure. If we look all the way down the line, I think that... Let's see, what's the line there? What are the Pirates projected for? 4.2. I think Mike Montgomery at the minimum salary for the Cubs could be worth a peek. Is he going to be able to go deep enough into that game? Let's take a look at Mike Montgomery. Are they just going to throw a bullpen game? I can't imagine he's going to be able to go all that long. It's a guy that could pick up enough Ks, but yeah, I don't expect him to see enough innings. Max Fried could go pretty well for the Braves, also at that $4,000 price point. But I'd expect the lowest that I'm going to go from an ownership perspective tomorrow is probably going to be just a tiny bit of Eric Lauer, 6,200. Padres are playing the Marlins. Marlins just a bad hitting team, so I think Eric Lauer is at least worth a tiny peek as an SP2. I think everybody's going to be crammed together big time. It's possible that if someone breaks away from the pack, that paying up to be contrarian on someone like Verlander might be worth it. There's enough value out there from a stack perspective to be able to pay up. Be interesting to take a look at the crunches once we get to that tomorrow morning in the show. It's possible, and I know this is going to be weird, it's possible that we might just turn tomorrow's show in the morning into a live stream as well. You guys won't know it until it starts to happen, so we'll probably only have like 30 or 40 of you crazies. But if we're going to be looking at a lot of the day stuff, it's Memorial Day, so more people might be home. Might be something to wake up to. Have some morning coffee and chat with us. We'd still walk through the games like we normally do, but we could at least take a question or two if people want to queue some stuff up. But just so you guys can hear it a little bit earlier, I'll save about an hour of me uploading it. So that's about where I'm at right now. This Celtics-Cavs game is back in full swing, and I would like to watch the rest of that. So that is the end of the night shift. Catch myself and Jake tomorrow morning, potentially live, as I have just spoiled the fun for the 150 or so of you that listen to this tonight. So I hope you had a good Memorial Day weekend. I know that I did. I hope that those of you that do get a day off tomorrow can enjoy it. We appreciate you all being part of this and listening to us and subscribing and liking things. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed your holiday. I hope you had a successful DFS holiday. And that's all I got. Go Cavs.